Thank you so much. So my name is Aija Laitinen. I am a Master of Health Sciences and registered dietitian and also a PhD student. And currently I'm working in a project called uh, Holistic Approach to Food Education for Early Childhood and Basic Education. And in my thesis, I'm identifying barriers and facilitators for food education in primary school. Food education is like a porridge. It's an everyday thing, uh, but important, healthy, and so good. And you can cheer it with the wonderful new things. And as a food educator, I am like a porridge topping that brings a new taste and enthusiasm to the familiar and safe. Food education is not a new thing in Finnish schools. We have had a free school lunch served equally to every child over 70 years. But the new twist is that food education pedagogy is based on evidence and scientific knowledge. Because of school meals, food education can easily become self-evident thing that just happens without doing it specifically. Food is fascinating phenomenon present in everyday life of children and adults. Because of its holistic nature, food and eating intertwine with every subject taught in school. Food education is not a subject in school, but it is attached to objectives of transversal competencies and so on integrated in subjects and school dining. This picture presents a holistic view for food education in school. For example, food education must be sustainable and ethical. We simply should not teach anything without considering these issues. That is making future smile. Effective food education interventions have been developed, but establishing food education in the normal everyday school practices and to curriculum is challenging. The Tasty School model provides tools to implement food education in primary schools and thus helps schools to meet the requirements of the Finnish school meal recommendations and Finnish national curriculum. The Tasty School model was developed in cooperation with primary schools and nutrition, food education, and basic education experts. And here you can see the path to the Tasty School. So we gather our team in school, multi-professional team, because school includes many professions. And then we evaluate how the food education is working now. And we get to find out where we have the weak points and where we are strong. And then we can pick ideas how to improve the weak points. And we have a lot of those tips in our website. And the next slide, I will show you the year of school food education. So that's one example how you can plan the school year and taking account the food education. And then also education is important to teachers. So we have online course for every teacher. So we created the Tasty School model to help schools to implement food education more intensively with the holistic approach. As you can see, there's many themes in this year. My body is important, food traditions, spring season of growth, etc. We raise the everyday practice into discussions with school personnel to make them notice their role as food educators. During the Tasty School project, we conducted quasi-experimental study with intervention and control groups. Total of 130 class teachers from 15 intervention and 10 control schools from 5 municipalities in Finland participated in the study during one school year. We were specifically interested in that is the Tasty School model feasible, including acceptability and implementation fidelity. To evaluate that, we utilized TFA, that is the theoretical framework of acceptability, that comprises 7 components, as listed here: affective attitude, burden, perceived effectiveness, ethicality, intervention coherence, opportunity costs, and self-efficacy. We created a feasibility questionnaire concerning user experiences and perceptions of feasibility and acceptability of the model, and that was directed to the class teachers after the intervention. After the intervention, a total of 88 teachers in the intervention schools answered the feasibility questionnaire. The data was analyzed using frequencies. And I share you with some unpublished results of the feasibility evaluation. Altogether, 96% of teachers reported they have had utilized the Tasty School's food education idea bank during the school year. Teachers implemented average of 3 food education activity during the school year. The Tasty School's feasibility and acceptability was high. For example, 90% felt that Tasty School's ideas have helped to put food education into practice. 85% said that Tasty School had benefited the school's teaching, and 80% would recommend the model to colleagues and used Tasty School also next year. Teachers reported the model being highly acceptable and easily integrated into the school environment. Only 1% of the teachers neither agreed nor disagreed that the Tasty School model is appropriate for school setting. The most important implementation facilitators were support from principals and colleagues, and that the Tasty School can be used based on teachers' own needs and interests. The reported barriers were the lack of time, financial resources, difficulties in work planning, and that there was no suitable space for food education. To conclude, most of the teachers found the Tasty School approach suitable for school environment and beneficial in teaching. And the website was perceived easy to use. Teachers are interested in continuing Tasty School activities in the future. But the future challenges are that the school restaurant is noisy and restless. Secondly, teachers lack time, premises and money. And third, the whole school may not be committed in food education. So, objectives, active planning, and implementation are needed for sustaining effects. Food joy for every school. Thank you.